What's up, ladies and gents? I got a special video for you today where I'm going to be showcasing what I've been putting together for my retro library. So, you know, I come from a long history of gaming, back being, my first console was a Nintendo, and I also had an Atari as well. I showed you previously the first game I ever remember playing, which was RC Pro-Am. But I've started to build a massive collection of the retro stuff, and I wanted to show you like this emulator, or not emulator, but this front end that I've put together using specific software to do so. And we're going to go ahead and jump in. I'm going to show you some of the stuff I put together so far. I still have not even probably 30% of what I'm going to have all put together. I still have a bunch of systems to get configured and added to, but this is my ultimate gaming, retro gaming, and today's gaming as well, because you can mix it all together, which we're going to go over. So I use a program called Launchbox. All right, this program is free. It also has a paid version that you can pay. You can do a one-time payment for the premium version, and then you have it for life. You can do a based off of a year. So let's say you get the premium version and you do it based off of a year, so you get updates for a year. You still get to use the software, and you can add and you can subtract and all that stuff. You just don't get any more updates, as opposed to when the service has updates of brand new features. You just don't get that after 1 year, unless you get buy the whole thing outright, and it's all still very, very, very cheap if you do that or not. But anyways, this is called Launchbox. Currently, it's at 12.15 beta that it's doing. This is this is kind of how you're going to put all your games together. If you don't want to do big box mode, which is your ultimate front end, this is free right here. What you see here, you could do exactly for free, and you don't have to pay any money for it. Yeah, but let me get started here. So this is my Windows PC game. So what it does is, if I go up here to Tools, Import, I can import my Steam games, Uplay, Origin, GOG, Epic, Amazon games, Windows games, Xbox Store, or just ROM files itself, MAME, all that kind of stuff. So all of these are taking from all the games that I currently have, either for Steam, Uplay, GOG, all that kind of stuff. It's all put together in one seamless area, and yeah, so it's just beautiful. Now you might see some things not have sometimes you have to add your own art if the art is not available, like say Hellblade Senua's Sacrifice. You guys know that game. This is the VR edition because I have Oculus. So you could go over to the metadata, and you can go down to the media, download media, and you'll see that Launchbox itself has servers that allow you to use the pictures and stuff. So it'll download pictures, it'll download videos, so everything looks nice and neat. But some games might not, for whatever reason. It can't find, as you can see, it cannot find the box art for it. So if this happens, then it's simple for you to do. You just go to you can add your own media, save image as, and then you can actually download media packs, and there's all kinds of stuff that you can do, so that way it looks all nice and neat. But you can also arrange it by different things. So let's say I arrange this by boxes, and you'll see now it's completely different. And you'll see that if you go to H, where is it? Hellblade. See, it does have an image there. It's just a smaller one or whatever. So you could view this whatever way you want. You could do by carts, background. You could do clear logos, and this just essentially puts it in its logo form or whatever. And you see some don't have logo form, so you might have to add, or go to the download section in Launchbox and you're in the forums, and you can do image groups that will like have this kind of stuff for you, whatever. So I usually just keep it around in boxes or whatever. But there's all the PC games that I have already stored, and essentially what I am doing with all of this, as you can see, if I go to bring it over to my, here we go, you'll see how many drives I have in. Right now I am using this on a 9 terabyte hard drive, and this is a terabyte hard drive that I got with my last computer. When I bought my last computer, it's not an SSD, it's an actual real hard drive. But then I have some other SSDs that I've gotten over the years. Obviously, this takes years and years to collect these things because they can be expensive, especially nowadays. So I'm glad I have what I already have because I can't afford it anymore. But yeah, so you can see. So I've put Launchbox completely on here, and it's essentially right here. And you see all the games. It's very, very easy to implement and to use and to put together, and I definitely recommend this for you avid collectors of video games to put everything in a nice and neat package. So when you click on something, you usually have like a video, then you've got some pictures that you could look at. It tells you the publisher. This is connected to Steam. Again, I'm getting this from my Steam account, so it shows you your achievements that you've done, and this is just one layout. This is called Launchbox Neon Deluxe Arcade. I really like the look of this specific layout, but you can change it by going to manage Launchbox themes, and then you can completely change the way the things look. I'm using this one, so it has kind of like an arcade nighttime look to it, but again, there's so many different ways that you can have it set up. A lot of really, really, really cool stuff, but I like this one myself. And this, I'm having it separated by platforms right now. So if we go to Super Nintendo, you can see all the box arts for Super Nintendo, and again, you can change it. Those are the 3D box arts. If you ever need to refresh your images, just press F5 and it'll make sure all the images show up better. Let's see, if we do image by boxes, then you see how it switches. And here's my Super Nintendo collection, 768 games. And again, if you click on one of them, sometimes they won't have a video, but you can insert a video if you have that video. It's really up to you. But it's so freaking cool. Like, I'm trying to go to one with a video. That's all right. If it doesn't, sometimes you have to insert your own videos, but most of these have actual videos. I don't know. Maybe it's not showing up. You can actually have it showed up, make sure that the videos show up, or if you don't want the videos to show up because it's too taxing, you can take it off too. So, all your Madden footballs. I mean, it's so extensive on everything here. A few PSP games that I have hooked up, as you can see. Of course, and you can click on them. And yeah, and I can't wait to actually maybe do a walkthrough for these games. I think that's going to be pretty cool. And I know people still want to see Splinter Cell Essentials, but man, that game is rough. PlayStation 3, you have to add these individually. See how this image is not showing up? So if I hit F5, sometimes you need to refresh the image to get it to show up. And then you can see it there. PlayStation 2, and I'm just showing you this front end real quick here. PlayStation, 161 games. Sega Saturn, and again, this is not even 35% of the collection that I actually have. Sega Genesis, 742. Game Gear, 384. Dreamcast, 107. And again, yeah, you just got to kind of wait for the images to populate and all that stuff. And again, if you just press F5, most of the time they'll all show up. GameCube, 75. Again, Twin Snakes. You see how that... So yeah, it fixes all that stuff. Nintendo Entertainment, 1702. Nintendo 64, 65. Xbox, 118. And actually, they do run fairly well for Xbox games. And I don't have a lot of arcade stuff. I have a lot of it, but I haven't imported it all yet. So you can do it by platform. You can also do it by playlists. So that way, let's say you have, the Metal Gear games that I have installed so far. So it's set up by playlist, all the different football games that we have for each and every single system. But so this is just the normal view. This is just a nice way for you to put it all together into one kind of cohesive arrangement. Now I'm going to show you Bigbox. This is the big deal of what I'm talking about. This is where it gets really, really fun. So this is only available if you get the premium edition. However, like you said, you only have to get it once and you got it for life, and it'll work with what you have currently, and you'll have it for a year, but then you will no longer get updates unless you pay, I think it's like $15 extra to have the updates for life as well. So here's Bigbox. So what's going to happen is it's going to exit that, and it's going to load up this huge console-like interface. it'll play a video, and you can select videos. You can download them from the forums. It's really, really cool. This is just specifically one, and it plays them randomly, so it's not always going to be the same video, depending on how many you have. But we'll skip that just in case copyright. Alright, so here we go. So this is the big box. So as you can see, it lets you play the recent games that you have played as I was testing out all of this stuff. It's a really, really nice interface. This is just one theme. There's there's countless of themes that you can add on here. Community has made a lot of themes as well. But let's say we just click on Windows, right? These are all of our computer games. So, yeah, let's get to Windows. There we go. So it's going to bring up Windows, and now you can see all of my Windows games and how they're separated. And literally, it's essentially you just click on a game, and it's going to load right up. I mean, I love the way that it sets itself up, and it tells you what you have it available for. If you look on the right side, it says Epic and Steam. I have this game both on Epic and Steam. It even separates the DLC, so that way you can get into that easy. Well, let's say I wanted to load up Assassin's Creed Syndicate, okay. So you click on it, then you got all these options. Well, depending on if the game has its manual, you'll see manuals on here that you could look at the entire original manual and different stuff like that. This one is populating from, I believe it's, what did it say? Uplay. So this one's populating from Uplay. So essentially, it takes your Uplay and it sends the signal to Launchbox and Bigbox, and it plays it. So if I just click play, and it's going to load the game up. Now this might take a few seconds depending on how long Uplay actually takes, because it's got to connect and do all that kind of stuff. But once that's done, it's going to launch the game, and then you're going to be right back into it. So just give it a second. There it goes. Obviously, these types of games are much, much harder to start, or not harder to start, but they take a little bit longer because they're more brand new, and you guys know how when you're starting a video game on Steam or whatever, it takes a few seconds to load it up and all that jazz. But as you can see, it's the full game, just as if you were loading it up on your, you can play with your mouse, you can play with your keyboard, with your controller, depending on what you got plugged in. Obviously, when you're playing, you can play any game in this entire collection with your keyboard or mouse if you want, if that's what you want to hook it up to. But obviously, most of the consoles, you're going to want to hook up a controller of some sort to play it with. I mean, that's going to be the best thing. But yeah, there you go. See, just get right into it. Now, if I want to exit this game without having to quit to Windows or anything like that, I can do so by just holding down on the controller Start and Select, or pressing Escape twice. So I'm going to hold down on the controller Start and Select. And there you go. It'll just cancel out the game, it'll quit the game, and then you're back into this specific thing. So it's super, super easy and convenient to use, except it looks like it's frozen. Why is it? Maybe it's because I'm streaming or because I'm recording, it's having a hard time. But it really shouldn't do that. You can hear it in the background, but you're not seeing anything move. That never ever happens. I promise you. Only when I'm recording. That this stuff only happens when I'm recording. Normally, whenever you back out of the game, it's totally fine. So let's go back in. Let's see if that same video actually plays this time. It might play a different one. It's random, so sometimes you might get the same one twice, but which looks like the case. It is the same one twice. Okay. Well, let's say we went into PS1.
138 yards.
All right, so I love the layout, and again, this is just one particular layout. I just think this is very smooth, and it just goes through your entire list of games you have. Again, let's say Silent Hill. We can click on it. You see how this one has a manual, so I can click View Manual. And then boom, I can take a look at the original manual of Silent Hill, which is great for that nostalgia. Especially for games like Metal Gear, when you need to look at the back of the box or look at the manual for specific codecs and things like that, which was a really cool feature that they did. And then you can just exit out regular. You can launch it with whatever programs that you have selected for your emulators. So we'll hit play. It's going to load it up. This one particular, and it's got bezels because back in the day, PlayStation wasn't in, you know, HD, so it was still in 4:3. So if you don't want to ruin the aspect ratio of the game, or you don't want to input cheats that have widescreen hacks and stuff like that, then you could do this. This allows you, some games will have these bezels. It's called the Bezel Project. So if it doesn't have this particular game bezel, then it'll have something a little different, like, say, just a PlayStation kind of bezel instead of the game-specific bezel. But as you can see, it loads right into it. I mean, it's done. I've got this set to 4K, so it's actually playing the game in 4K resolution, but at a 4:3 image because I don't want to stretch the image, so that's why the bezels are good. But yeah, as you can see, we're literally right here playing Silent Hill, which is such an amazing game, and I definitely recommend, especially Silent Hill 2. That's a game I recommend for everybody. But again, as you can see, you can quit by pressing start and select. That's PlayStation. You can go PlayStation 2, and I use a specific
find a safe place to hide
PC or PC XS2 to play this. Let's say we wanted to open up this. I think I have it all set up right. Hopefully I do. Sometimes it might not work right now because I've been finicking with different settings and trying to use different emulators to make everything work, but it looks like I have this emulator set up correctly. It's a work in progress. This thing takes a very, very long time to set all of these games up and to do all of this stuff. Again, this is PlayStation 2, so we do have everything set to widescreen. But again, some of these games were just done in 4:3, so you know you can do that as well. Depending on if you have, I don't have any games on this one, but yeah, so you can load right up. You can flip the box, mark as complete. You can add it to a specific playlist. PlayStation 3 uses RPCS3. So let's say I wanted to do Madden NFL 17, right, for PlayStation 3, which is actually really fun. You just click on that, and it's going to open up RPCS3 in the background. It's got to do all of its building its caches and doing all of that stuff. And its PPU modules. Everyone knows how RPCS3 works. That's the only thing, is it takes a few seconds to load up when you're doing RPCS3 because it's loading all of the shaders and all of that stuff. But then, boom, you're in Madden NFL 17. And it's just so fun to have something like this. And then again, you exit it out, start and select, and you can go back into playing whatever else. I don't have you have to manually put PS3 games in. That takes a lot longer, and all these games I have. So essentially what you do is you take your disc and then you put it into your computer, and then you can download a specific burner app that will burn your PS3 images into images on your computer, so that they're like hardware images as opposed to external. And then you can take that image and put it into RPCS3, and then boom, that's how you do that. We'll see what else we got. Yeah, Xbox. So Xbox, I've been very, very surprised. See, like you see I still have to, Xbox uses different type of files. They do ISO, but they also do XISO. If you have XISOs, you have to erase the .XISO in order to be able to get it to, and I'll show that here in just a second. But let's just play one of these games, like say, let's do NFL Fever. And again, you can click View Manual if the game comes with the manual, if you have the manual downloaded. Which is really, really cool. Manuals are always so much fun to take a look at. It's a shame they don't do them anymore. Got that original Xbox logo. and it loads right in. And not every game on the Xbox is going to run 100% smooth. Just know that, as the emulator is still getting better and better. But I've got so many freaking Xbox games that I've built my collection over for the past, 20 years. Well, yeah, it's been about 21 years or so. I can't believe
Go
that.
all the way. Keep going.
But there you go. See, boom. And you're playing it in 4K because I have the resolution set to 4K. So it's pretty cool. Let's see, Nintendo 64. And it runs perfectly. Let's see. Rogue Squadron. Again, you got the manual. A lot of these games will have manuals, but some of them won't. And again, you can get these images in these manuals because when you're going to import your game, you use the media metadata and it downloads it all for you, so you don't have to worry about any of it. So it's very, very smooth and very fun. Now, specifically, this is just one theme, but you can manage themes. As you can see, I have 16 installed, and there's 12 new and updated. So this is the default theme that I'm using right now. So if you wanted to change, let's go to Colorful Dark. And then I'm going to click on Apply as Main Theme. This changes the entire look of your thing. And there you go. Now it looks like this.
Mario! Hello!
So you can go up and down between your different systems. It's a very nice and clean look. And then you go through your games like this, and everything is still the same. You click on it, you still have your manuals if that's what you want. Really, really cool stuff. And then back out. Not only that, but you also have playlists that you can click on. So if you click on playlists, you can see that I'm starting to separate things from my favorite types of games. So like so far on here, there's plenty more that I'm going to put on here. My Assassin's Creed Unity, Syndicate, Valhalla, and then again, you just click on that. So it's set up by playlists as well. I got the Batman Arkham series on here. And you can set, so you don't see any images or anything in the backgrounds of this because you need to go in and manually do that yourself, which again, some of that can take a little time, but it's well worth it because it'll make the whole experience so much better. So, and it's separated, I have it sorted by date of when it came out. So Asylum, City, Origins, and Night. Really, really cool stuff. Like football games, of course. And Metal Gear games. Just what I have so far. I still have other collections to add. And we've got the Poop, because Poop is a really cool game. I was just creating my first playlist and I was messing around. Superman games. I don't have a lot of that stuff in here yet, but that's just another theme to check out. Again, there are so many. Another one I think is really cool is the City Hunter. So apply as theme. And then you have it looking like this. This is a very nice looking layout. And then when you click on it, you see all the games stacked up there on the side with their big clear logos. You get the big video there. Now, again, let's say we click on Star Trek, right? As you can see, it's got its own bezels. This is a Nintendo game. And again, if I want to go into the main system to change something around in this emulator, for me, I just hit F1 and it takes me to RetroArch. That is what is running essentially this game. So if I needed to go to the quick menu and change something with the bezel, I could do that here. If I wanted to change the video, the aspect ratio of it, like see it's in 4:3. If I just wanted to go ahead and stretch it or something like that, I could do it. Make it have the highest quality. Hit F1 to go right back into the game again, and then you're in. See, I mean, it's so intuitive. It's so much fun. You could play the video in full screen, so you see the video that's playing. Sometimes it's a little wonky, as you can see. It's... Oh, I see what it is. So that's just a... There, okay, there it is. So play video. That's playing the video. Play music. Right? Or if you wanted to go to view video full screen, you can do that as well. Flip box, you can see the back of the box. You could favorite, hide it, add it to a specific playlist like Star Trek games or something like that. You could view related games, and what's going to happen is it's going to populate games that are similar to this specific game. It might not be exactly the same thing, but games that this thing says it's similar to. Star Trek games, space games, you know, and ports of the same game. So let's say you have the same game on different consoles. So as you can see, here is the pinball version, and here is the Game Boy version of the same game. So again, there's so freaking much stuff that you can do in this whole thing. I mean, it's so awesome. But if we switch back to desktop mode, it's going to bring Bigbox or Launchbox back up. And like I told you before, we're going to switch back to platforms and go to Xbox. Now, I showed you how like some things weren't showing up, right? Because these so Outlaw Golf. So if we right click on it, there's the emulator that it runs with. So we're going to edit, go to metadata. We need to take off this because the way that it was put on there, it had this extra that on there. So then we hit enter. It's going to search for the game. So hold on. There we go. No games were found. So Outlaw Holiday Golf, it doesn't seem like is... we had to pick the one game that they don't have any. Let's try Outrun 2. So we take this off, hit that, yep, so it found it, Outrun 2. Then we go to Media, Download Media. You see all these that show up. This is from Launchbox's database, which will show the screenplay and all that, and this is from EMU Movies. You have to buy a license for this, so I bought a one-time license for it years ago, and that's how we can get the gameplay. So let's take off the low quality because we don't need that, and then just hit download. You can see how quick it downloads, and hit that, and now you're going to see that the game actually shows up. And there's that. Pictures, information, and there you go. So I've had to painstakingly go through each one of these that are ISO, and do that with. So I've just been doing it a little bit at a time when I've had time or whatever. I've gotten all the way to there so far. Again, I might do like 10 at a time because again, you have to go in there and you have to do this. It's a painstaking process to do if the file was named this way, but it's definitely worth it so that it looks all nice and everything downloads super quick. So immediately, you know, you're right there and boom. Pretty cool. Yeah, so there is Launchbox and Bigbox. I wanted to show off kind of my retro gaming setup of how I'm doing stuff. You guys have seen other front ends that I've done. I've got coin ops collections that you can get. This is a nice one as well. This is separate from Bigbox. It's a completely different thing, but it's a very, very nice look. And as you can see, you can go through the consoles, Sega Saturn, Genesis, Dreamcast, all of that. And then as you can see, it's set up completely different. But essentially it works, you know, almost exactly the same way. You click on a game, give it a few seconds, and boom, it loads up. Same thing to get out, you know, start or whatever. But I actually prefer the Bigbox and Launchbox because it's set up to exactly how you want. It's a DIY's dream. DIY's dream. So yeah, I want to show off a little bit of my retro gaming stuff that I have on here. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you again so much for watching. And if you want to know any information about this, make sure you follow us on our Discord and ask any questions you have, and I'll be more than happy to answer there. All those links are in the description. Don't forget to leave a thumbs up on the video. Hopefully you enjoyed it, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.